The human body has a vibratory frequency of 60 to 72 megahertz in regular normal health. Top of it, Team Coach E, and it's time to leverage your life. Now, if you didn't know, your life is your business. And if you're not living the life you desire and deserve, it's because you are not minding your business. And if you're not minding your business, it might be because you do not know what your business is. And if that's the case, you're in the right place. Now, I know we all know clothes have a frequency. Why do we know this? Because we all scientists now, we all know everything vibrates. We all know that everything has a frequency. We all are into the law of attraction. So we know that everything is vibrating, everything is moving. But what I want to focus on today specifically is the vibration of your clothes. Why? Because you hear the phrase dress to impress, but we live in an era where people do not put a lot of emphasis on clothing. Everybody has their own personal style, and that style resonates with their personality and so on and so forth. We have the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world who just wear the same thing every day, and we feel like, clothing has no real importance and it's just vain and materialistic. But I'm here to tell you that there's more to the clothes that you wear than the aesthetic out and external value. Now, let's start with a couple of facts. Did you know that wool and linen has a vibratory frequency of 5,000 megahertz? The human body has a vibratory frequency of 60 to 72 megahertz in regular normal health. The diseased human body has a frequency of 15 megahertz. Now, polyester, which is a cheaper fabric, has a vibratory frequency of 10 megahertz. What we can naturally deduce from this is that higher quality fabrics have higher vibratory frequencies. Lower fabrics have lower frequencies. And because we know that diseased bodies have a lower frequency than a normal body, we know the lower the frequency, it's not that good. And the higher the frequency is good. Now, what is this megahertz? What does megahertz mean? Now, first of all, hertz comes from the German physicist Heinrich Hertz. And anything measured in cycles of a second is considered to be measured in hertz. Now, a megahertz is 1 million cycles per second. And there's other hertz, there's kilohertz, there's gigahertz, but we're just dealing with the more common measurement, which is megahertz. And 1 megahertz is 1 million cycles per second. So what does that mean? If a human being is vibrating at 60 to 72 megahertz, then that means that he's vibrating at 60 to 72 million cycles per second. That's pretty high. This also means that a wool or fabric like linen that's vibrating at 5,000 megahertz is vibrating at a frequency of 5 billion cycles per second. That's a lot of vibration. But what does that also mean? That also means that a diseased body and polyester are vibrating at 10 to 15 megahertz, which means it's only vibrating at 10 to 15 cycles, 10 to 15 million cycles, per second. You see the drastic difference between these. So, not only does clothes have a vibratory frequency, now we know that all things have a vibratory frequency, right? So that means that even the colors we wear have a vibratory frequency. And really, when we see colors, we're not seeing a specific color, we're seeing a frequency of light. So what that means is that different shades are different frequencies of light. You see red because that's a certain frequency of light. You see blue because that's a certain frequency of light. Blue is not blue because it's just blue. It's a frequency of light. When you split light through a prism and you see the different shades like the rainbow, you're seeing different frequencies that all exist simultaneously. Okay, so since we know that clothes have frequencies and higher frequency clothes are better quality and lower frequency clothes are lower quality, what does this mean on this grand scheme of things? What it means is what you wear has an effect on who you are. And it also means that dressing to impress does not only have an aesthetic value, but it has a scientific value, a spiritual value, and it really can enhance who you are. And I'm going to give you some examples. Let's start off with the aesthetic value of how you dress. Now, if you're walking down the street and you happen to see a gentleman walking past you, and this gentleman has on a three-piece linen suit, and the suit is nicely laid, it's tailored specifically to his body, it's cut properly, it's no baggy areas, it's not wrinkled, he smells good, he's clean cut. Naturally, how would you feel about that person when they walk past you? Would you feel threatened by that person? Would you feel like that person was going to rob you? Would you feel like that person is somebody that you want to know? Would you feel like that person knows something that he can teach you? Naturally, you will gravitate towards that person. Why? Because the way he's presenting himself, based upon your programming, your understanding, and the aesthetics of how this person looks, is somebody that you want to be closer to. Now let's take that same person, but on the flip side. Now let's put him in more regular everyday clothes, probably some workout uniform, but not looking like he's working out, looking like, you know what I'm saying, he just woke up out of bed, pajama pants on, a raggedy shirt, the collar is kind of drunk, kind of like this collar, and then, you know, he doesn't have a fresh haircut, doesn't have any cologne on, doesn't have anything to make himself look presentable, and he's just walking down the street. Now, I'm not saying this person will be looked at as anything lower than the person in the suit. But what I'm saying is, how would your mentality be towards this person? Would you feel like this is somebody you want to know or be close to? You might feel like you want to get away from the person. You won't want to ask them any questions or know anything from them. Now, I'm not saying that you need to assume that a person, based on how they dress, has no information. There's a lot of variables. This person could just be getting up. This person could have been in a rush. It's a lot of things. But let's just say a general understanding of when you see a person in a suit and you see a person in some pajama clothes that they're going to the store in. One person you want to know and one person you don't want to know, or you don't care to know or think you need to know. So the difference in you being able to be acquainted with certain people was based upon how this person was dressed and the aesthetic value of how it's dressed. Now that's just on the exterior, because we all know we can't judge a book by its cover. That person that was dressed in the pajama clothes probably could know more than the person in the suit. The person in the suit could just be a snake oil salesman trying to present the idea that they know something, but they don't. But I'm saying the general understanding is that a person in a suit is more approachable and more of somebody who you will want to know versus a one who is not. Now that's just on the aesthetic level. Now let's look on a deeper level. Now we already said that linen clothing, wool, has a vibratory frequency of 5,000 megahertz. Do you think that not only that also plays a role in you being attracted to that person? You don't think that the fabric being a little bit more of a higher quality and having that higher frequency didn't resonate with your frequency and your aura? And that's the whole reason why you are in tune or want to be in tune with that person? Of course it does. And again, just like the colors with the frequencies of the colors, if you see somebody wearing bright and vibrant colors, you're going to automatically assume they have that type of personality. And that colorful personality, you're probably going to be more attracted to versus a person walking down the street in goth attire, all black. You might be put off by that person. You might not want to be around that person. Something inside you says, hey, that's not, something that I want to get close to based upon our psychological programming. There might be signs of danger. I mean, just look at how we are trained with the stoplights. Green is for going, red is for stopping. Anytime you see a red sign, we are told that that's danger. Anytime you see yellow, it's caution. Every time you see green, it's go. So that's a programming, but that's a programming based upon the vibratory frequencies of the color. Those colors match those frequencies and the message that's trying to be sent. And that's the same way with how you dress. When you dress, you are signaling and giving a message out to the world. So when you get up, you need to put that shit on. Do not downplay the importance of your physical appearance, because there's a scientific and an aesthetic quality to it. And I've just showed you it, and you can go research more for yourself. Better material has a higher frequency. So if a higher frequency means a higher vibration that's more towards a healthier human being, why would I volunteer to put lower frequency clothes on, all because I want to say to myself, clothes are vain and they don't really mean anything. It's just something to cover your body up and your nakedness up. No, that's wrong. It's not just that. There's more to it than that. Now, again, your success is not completely dependent on the clothes you wear, nor is the quality of your life completely dependent on the clothes you wear. You can be a person who does not wear nice clothes, who has a very good and healthy self-esteem and idea and self-perception of yourself. But how much more? And we're always looking for ways to upgrade ourselves. So how much more can you intensify that frequency of high self-esteem by wearing clothing that not only naturally has a high vibration, but is aesthetically pleasing? I tell my people around me all the time, if you ever want to strike a conversation up with certain people, wear a jersey. Now, jersey is not considered formal clothing, but what I found out is if I wear a team that somebody else likes, they're going to open up a conversation with me. So if I'm in a non-formal setting and I can wear street clothes, I like to put on a jersey because jerseys and people's affinity towards sports teams creates a comfort level where people can talk to you. Anytime I wear a jersey, I don't care if I'm going to the supermarket or if I'm going to the gym or if I'm going to an event. Somebody that I do not know and probably would never talk to me is going to start a conversation with me just because of my jersey. And it could be of the opposing team, so he's going to give me a hard time. Or it could be for his team, so he's going to be happy. Ask me about how they doing this season. Or it could be of a legendary player, and they like, oh, man, that was a bad boy. And now I'm opening up conversation. So without that jersey on, I probably wouldn't get that conversation for somebody. But because that jersey, I got the conversation. So I just say that to say this, that every day we need to put that shit on. Me personally, when I go to sleep, I put that shit on. What I mean is, now I don't sleep in some luxury brands. I will eventually, but what I'm trying to say is I like my clothes to match even when I'm asleep. I like my clothes to match when I go to the store. I like to look good when I go to the gym. I like to look good every opportunity that I can. Why? Because I'm already a person that has high self-esteem, high self-worth, a high self-perception of myself. But how much more can I give myself an edge if I top that off with some aesthetically pleasing clothes that have a high frequency? So now you know why wealthy people wear wool and linen clothes, why organic cotton is put on certain people versus wearing polyester, and why a polyester suit will be $200 or less and a wool and linen suit is going to be closer to $2,000. Because the quality of the fabric and what it can do and what it can do for you. So again, put that shit on, in the words of my boy, the football player. I can't think of his name right now, but put that shit on, man. Put that shit on, man. Dress to impress. Don't downplay the aesthetic or spiritual or vibratory quality of putting on the right clothes.